I'm Steve Lascalzo, and this is The Way. You are listening to This is The Way podcast's April 2025 Star Wars News Update Edition. And I know, there is more April to come. But it's not just that Star Wars Celebration 2025 in Japan just wrapped up. Andor's second season starts dropping episodes in groups this week, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. 3-episode arcs weekly. It's like getting a movie to comb through each week. The plan here at This Is The Way podcast is to have a first impressions podcast or reaction podcast first and as soon as possible after finishing that first watch of all 3 episodes made available each Tuesday. After that is produced and published, then I will take the time to go back and research for a recap and discussion episode by episode, in a more of a deep dive style. Those are going to take more time. It leaves me basically one day to research and then a day to produce for each of the 3 episodes, because I'll have the first watch, that's one day, and then a day to research, and then a podcast, a day to research, and then a podcast, a day to research, and then a podcast. That's a lot. I'm also doing a daily Rays baseball episode. It's called Baseball Rays Dio. So the number of podcast episodes produced is going to be significant. So if you're the praying kind of person, I could really use some prayers right now.
This will be a sprint segment!
It's time for me to report Star Wars news released since our last news update podcast. I know this is out of order, and I know that Star Wars Celebration Japan just wrapped up, but we now know when the next scheduled celebration will be and where. Star Wars Celebration 2027 is going to be in Los Angeles April 1st through April 4th. That will be the 50th anniversary celebration, and it'll happen in the same time zone as Lucasfilm headquarters. That means they're skipping the 49th anniversary of Star Wars and then returning just a couple months before a movie release, one which I'll discuss in a moment. So they will not have Star Wars Celebration 2026. Before I get to Celebration 2025 news, there was a bit of early April Star Wars news. Tales of the Underworld was announced for Disney+, continuing an animated anthology of short stories set in the Star Wars universe. There will be 6 episodes split into 2 arcs. One follows bounty hunter Cad Bane, and from the trailer, it looks like this is before he gets his breathing apparatuses on his neck, maybe even telling the story of how he got those. The other arc follows Asajj Ventress after she left Count Dooku, and in the trailer, she's sporting the yellow-bladed saber that she had in the Bad Batch Season 3 episode she appeared in. You may not know it, but she seemingly died in the novel Dark Disciple, which was or is canon, and it is from the new Disney era of publishing. So how is she alive? We didn't get a real explanation for that in the Bad Batch, so perhaps we do in Tales of the Underworld. That series starts streaming on Star Wars Day, May 4th, 2025. Star Wars Celebration 2025 kicked off late Thursday night on the east coast of the US, which was daytime in Tokyo, Japan. So watching live was very difficult for me at HQ, and it caused a lot of problems in the home. The first thing that I noticed, Hayden Christensen coming out, being interviewed, and let's be honest, this was not a gripping interview. He talked generally about his experiences in his time in Star Wars. There's not much left to say that hasn't already been said by him. The highlight, though, was the gathering and singing of Happy Birthday to him while his 10-year-old daughter was in attendance. So celebrating his birthday out there, maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was a little bit... Maybe he had some celebratory champagne or something. It was a nice moment, And that was really what I got out of seeing him so early in Star Wars Celebration. Up next on day one was a panel for Industrial Light and Magic Season 2 on Disney+. And it's centered around the contributions that the effects house made and the evolution into the modern computerized effects, like the volume and things, and the way that this has transformed cinema. That Season 2 is now streaming on Disney+. Lucasfilm Animation celebrated 20 years and had an announcement of a new series called Maul Shadow Lord. Sam Witwer is set to reprise his voice acting role of the title character, and it sounds like it has to be set in the time between the end of the Clone Wars, but then before his reappearance in the storyline of Star Wars, and I think it'll be happening toward the end of Rebels. Maybe it tells some of the stuff that we kind of got a hint at in Solo, a Star Wars story. I'm not sure. But along with that Underworld series, there were 2 big animation announcements, and I'm not counting Young Jedi Adventures Season 3. Day 1 also got a large live-action announcement, and this is the movie that I was referencing earlier that is going to be coming out not long after Star Wars Celebration 2027. Ryan Gosling came out on stage. He's going to have a starring role in the Star Wars universe. Sean Levy's movie also now has a name and a release date. Star Wars Starfighter releases on May 28th, 2027. Now, I don't think this has anything to do with the game that was released in 2001. It came out on PC, Xbox, PS2, and PS3. This movie is going to be set 5 years after Rise of Skywalker. And Gosling, I guess, will be a fighter pilot. Previously, the Gosling involvement was just speculation and rumor. But like I said, he came out on stage at Celebration, talked about the history of Star Wars in his life. And if he's starring in a new adventure with new characters, it's not a prequel or a sequel to Star Wars, this could be the first in a series. If this does well, maybe there's a series of Ryan Gosling Star Wars movies. But it has to do well.
This script is just so good. It has so much adventure, so much heart, and original characters. It's an opportunity to shine a light into a side of the universe that we may not have seen.
Then we heard about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie set for a release earlier than Starfighter, so next year, and it had representation on stage. Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni weren't the only ones that came out to talk about it, though. Pedro Pascal and Sigourney Weaver also came out on stage to remind us Mandalorian and Grogu is coming. Now that's not news. We've heard about this for quite some time. And neither is Weaver's involvement. We talked about that.
Everyone has a different Star Wars and everything. It doesn't matter. I'm part of the family now.
But everything is now official. There was even a picture shown of Weaver in a Rebel flight suit. Zeb from Rebels will end up meeting Mando and Grogu. There's a picture shown during the panel that looks like it might have been on that beach planet that we saw Zeb talking with Captain Teva in The Mandalorian Season 3. There's going to be BDX droids, and they will be piloted by Anzellans. And then a shot of Rada the Hutt showed him in an arena, so that's a storyline that's basically confirmed now. I mean, it's possible that we don't know the context of it, but we will find out for sure when the movie releases May 22nd of next year, 2026. Day 2 began with a panel on Andor's second season. Alan Tudyk joined the panel. Nothing new came out. Perhaps some of our confirmed leaks were also doubly confirmed.
Resistance is absurd.
Then there was an Ahsoka Season 2 panel where Hayden Christensen confirmed he's going to be coming back for Season 2, and Rory McCann was shown in Baylan Skoll costuming since he's taking over for the deceased Ray Stevenson. Stevenson's Skoll was one of the highlights of Season 1 in that show for me. Also, Admiral Akbar is set to return, and there will be a gigantic space battle. That will be, I think it was said that that'll be half of the show will be this space battle. Now, this is before Akbar's death in The Last Jedi. I hate to spoil that for you, but he is going to square off against Grand Admiral Thrawn. So 2 admirals going at it in a space battle. There's also a quick mention of the newest merchandise that's going to be coming out for Season 2 of Ahsoka. Dave Filoni let it slip that there will be Loth kittens that have underdeveloped legs and have to roll around. So guess what my kids are getting for Christmas when those come out?
I created these small Loth kittens, which we've never seen before. Their legs aren't strong enough to walk, so they roll around. That's cute. These will be in Star Wars shop next baby celebration, I hope, so I can start paying Disney back for how much new, lovely production I've got. That's wonderful. But yeah, Loth kittens. All the rage. They come in several colors. Woo! Yeah.
And Day 3. Not much. Star Wars Vision's going to have 2 seasons available on Disney+, and they did talk about the 3rd that's coming this fall, but the only real announcement on Day 3 was related to that show. There will be a limited series coming out for one of the stories from Season 1 that was a standout hit. The 9th Jedi will be released in 2026, and it does say limited series. Now, if you'd like to know about The 9th Jedi, that is one of the episodes that we covered here on This Is The Way podcast. You have to search back in our archives, but we did discuss The 9th Jedi, and I talked about where it ranks in all of the Season 1 Star Wars Visions episodes. I did not cover Season 2. I didn't think it was as great as the first few episodes of Star Wars Visions Season 1, and after I saw those first 2 episodes or so of Star Wars Visions Season 1, I said, I gotta cover this. And then I was let down by a few of the episodes, but The 9th Jedi was clearly a standout. Day 3 of Celebration had some more panels and interviews. They talked to Imagineering and ILM again, and then there were actors like the Boba Fett family. Tim Morrison and Dan Logan came out, and sidekicks of Star Wars. Anthony Daniels, Alan Tudyk, Ahmad Best, and Ashley Eckstein. And then there was the announcement of Celebration 2027,
where we will all gather to also celebrate the first 50 years of the franchise. And we'll be doing it in Los Angeles, California at the LA Convention Center, April 1st through 4th. We hope to see you there. Thank you, Japan, for your hospitality. And of course, may the Force be with you always.
Thank you.
Star Wars gaming news. Electronic Arts is going to be bringing a new single-player turn-based tactics game to the Star Wars universe called Star Wars Zero Company, set during the Clone Wars era. Turn-based means something like XCOM to me. You'll have to look that up if you're not too old. StarWarsNews.net's report on this announcement indicated this could be the same game that BitReactor and Respawn Entertainment were working on the last couple of years and we've been reporting, which is also supposed to be turn-based strategy style. There is actually now a trailer online that, get this, actually shows gameplay and not just cutscenes. That's a win. Star Wars The Old Republic is still producing content, believe it or not. It is quite old, even for the MMO world, but there was a trailer shown in Japan that featured a celebration of past content and a tease towards what's coming next in the Legacy of the Sith storyline. You can play for free, but a lot of the content is locked behind paywalls.
We're still here 13 years later because of your love, passion, and enthusiasm for Star Wars The Old Republic.
Then there's Star Wars Outlaws coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 console. Not the Switch. The second edition of the console, which is going to be coming out in June of this year. Outlaws is set to be one of the initial offerings of that new system, which, I gotta imagine it has some sort of backwards compatibility with Switch games, since most of the gaming world has gone digital. The game is already available on Xbox X and S, PS5, and of course PC, but not the Switch. There is some new DLC coming for the game as well, a Pirate's Fortune featuring Hondo Anaka, and on day 1, it was revealed that it will be here on May 15th of this year. StarWarsNews.net indicated most of the developers working on the game for Ubisoft have moved on to working on the next game in the Division series. So this may be the final content offering for that game.
You want riches, you want fame. You don't get the treasure without taking the risk.
I mentioned it last month, but I'll mention it again because there was an announcement. Epic does have new content coming for Star Wars in the LEGO Fortnite Odyssey game and in the Battle Royale section of the game as well. Just like in 2024, Epic is going to use the May 4th Star Wars holiday to try and get a little more money from microtransactions. They'll give a little bit away for free and then charge you if you want more. There was a new island introduced last year and lightsabers and a new character or a couple of new characters. Then a Lego pass that featured Mos Eisley buildings in the Odyssey portion of the game. Again, some of that was earned for free. The rest you have to grind out during the past season. So there's a new version expected to drop around May 2nd of this year called Galactic Battle. So that's when the current Lego pass runs out and a new one's going to take its place. And then there'll be Battle Royale features as well. There's going to be weekly game content. And everything's going to wrap up with a live narrative event. Usually they do those live events to kick off something. I think this is going to culminate and wrap up with a narrative event. One of the playable avatars shown, I imagine both in the Odyssey Lego portion and in the Battle Royale portion, Darth Jar Jar. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be buying that character, but I do have my eye on the Emperor Palpatine avatar. And finally, in gaming news, if you have the mobile game Monopoly Go, there's going to be a crossover event. It was announced on day one of Celebration that characters will start appearing in-game on May 1st, and characters confirmed to be in-game will be Anakin Skywalker, Yoda, Han Solo, R2-D2, and Qui-Gon Jinn. There's going to be Star Wars Go sticker album to unlock, as well as special tokens, shields, and emojis. The collaboration in a galaxy far, far away runs through July 2nd of 2025.
And starting with our Celebration offering, coming straight to you from Star Wars Visions, as you know, our Celebration offering is Ronan and his droid, B556. Our first reveal, going back to Black Series, is one of our main characters that needed an update, Han Solo. This is a newly tooled Han Solo from Star Wars A New Hope.
Now, it's not very often that Han rides solo, if you will. So, of course, you guessed it, we've got to bring A New Hope Chewie to the line, Chewbacca to the line. This is a fully new tooled Chewie. He is fully in scale, so he's going to come a nice full head taller than Han, as he should. And of course, he's also got his iconic accessories. So he's got his bowcaster and his bandolier for that really signature Chewie look.
In addition to those announcements you just heard from the Hasbro Pulse Collectors panel at Star Wars Celebration, there are some more collectors announcements to be made.
From Kenner's Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back collection, it's Millennium Falcon that you put together. Batteries not included.
Last month we got a new Skeleton Crew figure in the likes of SM33, and then our first Captain Carson Teva figure in the Vintage Collection line from Hasbro. Star Wars Celebration Day 1 reveals from Hasbro indicate Dash Rendar from the Extended Universe Shadows of the Empire book will finally have a Black Series figure. There's also Jedi Survivor figures like Turgle the Toad, and then Scuba Stev, which, I mean, someone must have liked the movie Big Daddy on the development team of the game, right? Scuba Steve, Scuba Stev. There's also a Cal Kestis with multiple hair and facial styles, and a blue and white painted version of BD-1. It's the third Black Series figure for Mr. Kestis there, but now at least he has Merrin to join him. She's getting her first figure in the Vintage Collection, and a Black Series version. The panel revealed that the designers at Hasbro used photo software from the game to create accurate and detailed models of Merrin's face. So they can smash their faces together, I guess. The panel had more to reveal with Moff Gideon in Dark Trooper armor, including helmet and cape, Cobb Vanth without armor, and I don't recall any other Bad Batch Vintage Collection figures, so Crosshair's announced figure might be the first one from that collection. And there's also a Bantha and Tusken Raider set coming, and all are supposed to be ready for retail this summer, including on Amazon and the Disney Store.
Just one more thing.
Disney Parks news time, and the Death Star popcorn bucket that is primarily available at Disneyland has been selling on eBay, and in mid-April, the price, if you could get one, was near but not ever less that I could find for less than $60. It's not quite 100% markup, except finding it for $60 isn't easy. High price points were near $150, so good luck finding one, and I still want one, but even if they end up becoming available at Disney World, or in one of the resorts, or on a cruise ship, supply and demand is going to prove costly in the long term. So unless you're standing there, and if you do stand in the line and they're available, I recommend getting one for yourself and then maybe one to sell. At this point, though, I'd settle if somebody sent me a slushie with a Luke or Vader lightsaber swizzle stick. Those look cool. If you haven't been able to get to Disneyland or Disney World and seen Batuu, you will soon have a chance to view video walkthroughs of the rides and locations. Disney Plus is going to make those available on May the 4th. There's a Disneyland After Dark coming it's a walkthrough of Black Spire Outpost without guests. There's only costume characters going to be there and the droids that they have on the streets. Then there's going to be a ride-through of Rise of the Resistance. Yes, the ride that takes you through being captured and interrogated by the First Order before breaking free with the help of rebels. There was not an announcement, though, about Smuggler's Run. We previously announced that there's a new version of the ride sequence coming that will parallel the Mandalorian Grogu movie that is available next year. We will have more details as that gets closer.
I think we can let him off with a warning this time.
That's going to do it for the April edition. Even though there's more April to come, we will have to recap anything that comes out after April 21st in our May News Update podcast. But if you think I missed something important, you disagree with me on one of my points, send email. thisisthewaypodcast@gmail.com. You can interact with us on X, Facebook, Instagram, all of them at This Is The Way Pod. You may check out our Linktree site. It doesn't always work as intended. It's linktr.ee/This Is The Way Pod. But your best bet is to send email. Thank you so much for joining me for This Is The Way Podcast's April 2025 News Update episode. I'm your host, Steve Lascalzo, and may the Force be with you always.